Good afternoon on what is a mild grey and cloudy day. It is Monday the 8th of April and I'm in the reading Nook with a nice hot cup of tea and a box to continue unboxing. And what I've got in here is this, which is Suburban Consumption of the Monstrous. You can't quite see this because of this cover, which is very attractive in its slavering mouths and flying molars. But let's take this cover off and I'll show you what's actually on the other side. This is Suburban Consumption of the Monstrous, an anthology of house horror LARPs. It's published by Pelgrane Press, who are best known for Trail of Cthulhu and to 13th Age and similar role-playing games. So, your home aches with dull familiarity, the creaking floors and secrets in dark corners, mundane, without ever being rendered comfortable. There are so many things you don't say, so many urges that aren't sated. Suburban Consumption of the Monstrous is an anthology of horror live-action role-playing games set in the suburbia with themes of food and consumption, written by game designer Banana Chen, who also wrote Jiangxi, Blood in the Banquet Hall, Betrayal at the House on the Hill, 3rd edition. And designer and illustrator Sadia Bies, the event Horizon LARP, the Sky Left Us. It delves into the twisted terrors that lie behind a seemingly normal suburban setting. In this collection, there are solo games, games for 2 players, games for 3 players, games for 4 players, and games for higher player counts. Featuring solo games as well as LARPs for up to and more than 4 players, the tone of Suburban Consumption of the Monstrous ranges from dark comedy to cosmic and existential horror, with plenty of unhealthy family dynamics and feeling trapped in ordinary homes turned sinister houses of horror. When you come to dinner, we hope you're hungry. So, there is a healthy hobby of LARPing in this country, live action roleplay, and a lot of it is focused around fantasy roleplaying, essentially playing fantasy characters, or sort of like Dungeons and Dragons, but obviously different for each LARP, and they can be very big events with hundreds of people taking place over the course of a weekend. But then you can also have quite dedicated LARPs focused on particular locations and big storylines across an entire range of genres. You know, essentially there's a lot of interest in sort of like Victorian LARP, where and similar, where you actually fully dress up in costume, and then you're going to be presented with basically a character pack which you need to know, and then go off and actually interact with the other players who will be also being in costume and acting as a character. It's a lot of fun. So, here we go. Table of contents. And a forward from both the authors and the publisher. And some definitions and calibration tools and setting expectations. And some differences here upon the different cultures of LARP. So, it's got some notes here upon the American freeform LARP. These kinds of LARPs are more dependent on how players interpret the prompts and are shorter. Players are open to interpret the rules as they want to play the game. These games can be as quick as 20 minutes or as long as 4 hours or more, and so on. Essentially, the definitions of American freeform are constantly changing, but they generally take less prep work than other forms of LARP and are reminiscent of acting or improv exercises. So that's an entirely different approach to the LARP hobby than we have here in the United Kingdom. So here we've got some kind of standard tools, including session 0, open door policy, OK check-in, setting things up and setting what expectations, all the way up to lines and veils and the use of the X card. And then also the O card. The X card is for something you don't want to see. The O card is something that you do want to see, which got you excited. And then the debrief, and so on. And we have also the similar steps there for the solo play through. And then we'll get on to for one. So this is basically a housewife in her 20s. Play for 3 hours. It's got you've got content warning, tone and media touchdowns. So you've got some idea of what it's going to be like, even if you don't know the exact subject. So, a housewife in her 20s. It's feminine horror. Swallow the movie. Monstrous, feminine by Barbara Creed, and so on. And then, essentially, how does this work? Read you through these steps as you do them, and answer prompts where necessary by writing down your character's thoughts. So, how does this work? Doing your makeup, putting on your clothes, cooking for you and your spouse. That's interesting, essentially, how far do you go with that? Especially if you are playing this as another gender, for example. That's interesting. And then you essentially get down to the point where you sit down to eat. And here we have the game end, and so on. So that's really just in the case of a few pages. We have a complete role-playing experience for one in your own home. And that's going to do the same again with the similar setups. Is it Hungry 2? Which is inspired by the Babadook. And you even have a banishing ritual for getting rid of the threat to the house in that. Then we have TV dinner. Then we move on to for two. And this is quite a short one. This is only 45 minutes. So you can set this up, play this up. It just essentially, and so on. So it's 45 minutes, 2 players, content warners, torture, murder, serial killer, law enforcement, and knives. Tone and media touchdowns, NBC's Hannibal and Killing Eve. Both actually really great television shows. Calibration tools are the cut and break, OK check-in, lines and bells, character creation. And the items are needed a butter nail, knife, a black sharpie, a red sharpie, and a bandage. So you don't even need to do the dressing up anything, so there's kind of a minimum kind of thing. But you've got questions to ask and answer, secrets to delve into, and so on. And actions like here's the knife, cutting off a finger, but that's done with a butter knife, so it's not meant to hurt. My love, my passion. And this actually takes a lot of time. This is 15 hours. And so on. That's dealing with then 2 players, illness, codependency, violence, Munchausen syndrome by proxy, nudity, and so on. And is inspired by sharp objects and the phantom thread. So you've got quite a range of inspirations and stories to tell in here. And this is essentially played out over 3 acts: dinner, bath, and bed. Pete. Again, that's just simple as an hour. And you've got prompt cards there, ending cards, repeat and draw. You've got basically cheat sheets. We move on to 3. Goodbye Father. So outline of play, how to set up the game, how does it work, and so on. It is essentially each of one of these is a mini game in itself. And then we've got character and group cards, and father cards, gameplay cards. It's this is far more card driven in its use of prompts. And we have a end of game card, and then our child. Again, this is much longer. This is 1.5 hours Let me just check to see whether that actually is 15 hours, whether I'm actually looking at, I'm reading that wrong. No, I'm wrong. That's 1.5 hours. Let's say 15 hours. Sorry, that's my eyesight. I do apologise. And we move on to the 4. What we eat, and a very bloody tableau there, looks a bloody table. We've got more detailed character creation, so there's sort of the familiar roles and the cannibal roles. Guess who's coming to dinner should not be so much as guess who's coming for dinner, or guess who's coming as dinner. So on. Level betrayal. It's inspired by Black Horseman, and inspired by the No Exit play by Jean-Paul Sartre, sorry, and it does include scripts. And then for more, the eve of Type 2YK. So this is a throwback to the eve of the millennium. This is 6 to 8 players. And we've got not just character cards in here. We have baggage cards, so literally it's the baggage that people bring with them. Personal baggage is represented by the cards. Same again for the revelation cards, essentially what's going to be revealed throughout play. There's quite a few of those. By your hand. What lies beneath. Inspired by Hereditary. It's quite a basically quite a critically acclaimed horror film. And we've got literally pages of secrets here. Clarity comes to dinner. You actually essentially you've got a QR code for a video message which you can play at the sort of as part of the play. You've got character cards, again, mechanical cards, and then that's it. You have credits page, backers page, and that brings everything to a close. Suburban Consumption of the Monstrous, a book of at-home horror plots that you can. Fantastic. What is fantastic is you can pick this up and start playing. You sit down with the first one and you play through the solo ones. They are there for you to start playing, and it's almost like stepping through this. It's as if you are coming out of your shell, as if you're coming out of almost lockdown, moving from being forced to be at home and playing at home, and then as life improves, we can move away from sort of the pandemic. We can engage with more players and have more people at home and tell more stories at home, even if they are horror stories like in this volume. Anyway, Suburban Consumption of the Monstrous. I think that's an excellent collection. Interesting, basically to challenge your role-playing skills, whether that's playing on your own or playing with 2 people or even playing with more. So, hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box containing a book or game, or in this case a collection of LARPs, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook, and we'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.